All right. Well, good evening, everybody. I am Judge J.G. Davis. This is the DeKalb County Magistrate Court. As I said, this is the DeKalb County Magistrate Court criminal warrant application hearing. And I like to just take the time to just explain to folks what this is, because this is not common in all states. Georgia is one of the few states that allow private citizens to take out arrest warrant applications against other private citizens. There are obviously some exceptions to those matters, but ultimately, if it is a misdemeanor, and we're not dealing with somebody who was acting as a state employee at the time of this very well incident, you can very well make a complaint, an application against, or to the court rather, indicating that, hey, this individual has committed this crime. I want a hearing on it. Then it would be their job or responsibility for a judge to call you to make sure that you actually have your application meets our requirements. What does that mean? That is a misdemeanor that you're calling about. That is an action that actually happened in DeKalb County. Okay. And so once we've established those things, we haven't established that there, in fact, is probable cause for an arrest warrant to issue, which is what we'll be dealing with this evening. But we've determined that you're within the parameters for us to make that determination. Let me stress to you, this hearing is not a trial. This is not a trial. This is not an opportunity for you to determine whether or not you're guilty or innocent. Rather, this is a probable cause hearing. This is not beyond a reasonable doubt. This is determining whether or not there is sufficient evidence to take out the fact that there is probable cause for an arrest warrant to be issued. I see that he lives in another state. Is that what you've got down?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how do you know this person?
I was married to his sister-in-law for 11 years. So my ex-wife's sister, my ex-wife, and he's married to my ex-wife's sister.
Okay, I got you. And when's the last time? How did you get this address?
I know where he lives. I've stayed at their house in all the 11 years when me and her were married. Because I actually used to live in Vancouver, Washington, before relocating here last year.
And where did this happen in DeKalb? I see this happen in DeKalb.
It happened at AutoZone at my place of employment.
Have you been on the calendar before?
No, sir.
Now, my only concern is that the police report doesn't have an address for him. Was he there when you were there, or did just accident? I mean, in this event, he had already left and you had provided them.
He had already left when the police came.
The address is based purely on what you presented. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So this is what I'm going to do. Particularly because he lives out of state. This is what I don't like. And this happens, but what I don't like to do is issue arrest warrants, particularly for people who are out of state, and we don't have any confirmation that they noticed that we sent them in this regard has been done. And so I know that that's the address. If you can somehow provide to the court some type of confirmation, or even somehow have the police report updated to provide so they can run it, so they can show what his address is, what his most current address is, yes. So that we can confirm that, hey, he's got this, because it only goes out regular mail. You understand?
Yes.
And that meaning with he lives in Washington, and with our mail, I'm not sure when it went out, but it could have went out and it's Washington, and you know how the post office is, depending on when he got it. Let me ask you, let me see when you made this application. You made this application back in September 5th.
Yes, sir.
That's when you made the app, or when it was signed. I can't see when it was mailed out to him. Clerk, do we know when it was mailed out, when that notice was mailed?
Yes, Judge. It was mailed out September 22nd.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 30 days. He very will have received it. But I've seen things take a little longer. I'm going to reset it one time, Mr. Smith. In the event that he doesn't come around the second time, we'll hear it ex parte.
Yes, sir.
All right. Make sure, see if you can, and while you're there, if you can get any other information just so the police can confirm that that's his best address. All right. So this occurred back in July of 2023. Alvin Hutchins. Let me ask you, do you guys live in the same residence?
We do.
Oh, now that's problematic, and I'm going to tell you why.
Well, we have the same address of record, I should say that.
And that could be problematic. Does he live there now?
No.
See, the notice goes to your house.
Well, he was living there at the time. He's now in a drug rehab, but at the time he was living there.
I understand, but for the notice, you understand that's the concern. I see this was mailed back on 9/21. Did he live there back on September 21st?
He did.
Okay, and when did he leave?
About 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's. You got your. When did you get your notice?
Probably the week. So it was mailed on the 21st. I got it by the 25th, and a copy was sent to me and to him via email. He got it, Your Honor.
Well, email wouldn't serve as appropriate notice. It would just be 100.
When I say email, the court sent it to
but
him.
if he's in rehab, does he even have access to be able to appear today?
He does.
And is he in a program, or is he like in his own? He just is going to the rehab.
No, he's in some sort of program, but it's not court ordered or anything like that. I know you don't want to get into the facts of the case, but our mother basically told him he had to get out, so he went there. Yeah,
I got it. Well, this is what I'm going to ask you to do, because obviously what we have is whenever we have servicing, you guys live at the same house, even though I know you're saying he got it and gave you email and all that good stuff. The concern is that, not to say that you would, but there becomes concerns about whether or not the notice actually gets to them, because obviously the applicant's there, they get mail, all that good stuff. And then at this current time, he does not live there. Does not live there. This is not where he is. And he's in a program. And I don't even know whether or not he has the means and access to do it. I know you say he does, but obviously that gives the court concerns. So this is all I want you to do. If you know where he is and you know where he lives, give the court that new address. And then just so we can send it to that address, because we don't want him coming back and saying, man, I wasn't even living there. I was in and out at that time. I didn't get it. This isn't right. I didn't get the time to argue my case, particularly in these kind of matters where the officer has already potentially been out, but is not actually issued an arrest warrant. We want to give that person an opportunity to respond. Okay.
Well, my question in that instance, Your Honor, is I don't know how the service could be further perfected unless I hire a process server, which I will do if the court will allow. But it's just no.
You don't need to do that. We just need to make sure it's sent to the best address. And when it's sent to the same address as the individual who's the applicant, as much as I respect the fact that you're a pastor and you probably haven't been lying and not lying to me, I got to maintain that folks, everything is equal and fair in that regard. And I know you're saying he knew, he got the email. I got it. Right.
Well,
but
no. I mean,
let me ask you this. It's fine. Let me ask you this. When he was living there, did you see his letter too?
I saw the envelope. I didn't see the letter. I saw my letter. There was two letters, one for me and one for him. And he and I talked about it as well. But my only thing is, there's no his home address. He's been arrested multiple times. His driver's license. He was arrested for possession of cocaine in our family home, and it's the same address. So,
I don't want to get into that.
I understand, but what I'm asking is, there is no way to provide an address that would be different than the address that I provided, because this is in fact his address. So even if he'll leave a program, he'll come in and out of. So there's no way. There's no way to provide any other address that would be sufficient to serve him. I just don't know what that looks like.
Well, I'm trying to tell you. I mean, if you're telling me, at the program, does he live there with the program, or does he come to your house?
I honestly don't know where he is right now. He left going to a program.
See, that's part of the problem. And then two, you said you saw the envelope there at the house. Obviously this sounds like this is your house. What happened to the envelope?
It's my mother's home. It's our family home, but it's my mother's home. She handed me mine and she handed him his. That's, I mean, like what would be, so I want to get this matter, I don't know if you've had a chance to review the evidence, but I want to get this matter dealt with, because it was, the consequences of his actions have been very, very serious and caused another jurisdiction to secure a warrant against me just based on the vehicle. So, and it's been months now, so I don't know. I'm willing to do whatever the court says. I just don't know, if you tell me here's the ironclad way of getting him served, I'll do that. But I swore under oath, and I would not lie to the court under penalty of perjury, that he in fact received the notice.
Okay. All right. But you don't know where he currently lives now.
I have no idea where he is. As of 3 weeks ago, I don't know where he is.
Okay. Well, I mean, 3 weeks ago, it'd be like October 2nd. You got me. That's a concern. But all right, well,
I know he's been in the hospital. I do know he has been in the hospital. I cannot tell you what he's still there or not. I
That's
don't
a concern, because if he's in the hospital, obviously he's not gonna. I mean, he's not ultimately. And like I said, I can hear it ex parte. But if he's in the hospital, that does concern me, because I do want to give him the opportunity to respond if he's in the hospital. I don't know if your brother has a mental illness or something like that. But we'll see. All right. Well, hold tight. Let me see my last case here. I do swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and a penalty and perjury of law.
Yes, I do.
All right. I'm looking at your matter. Get with me here. And this is back from May.
Yeah, and they wrote it wrong on there. The air compressor didn't come from my car. It came from my house.
Okay. Let's see. Have you ever had a warrant issued?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Have you ever had a warrant already issued?
No.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Were they able to get a date of birth?
Yes, I provided that.
Did you?
Yes, sir. I came down to the courthouse to do it. And I took it to him.
That's the date of birth. It's not on the police report, nor is it on your application.
I don't have
Well-
it, Judge.
You said you do?
I don't.
Yeah.
You don't have it?
Yeah. If you don't have a date of birth, we can't, even if we were issuing an arrest warrant, we can't.
That's what I'm saying. So I was told that I needed it, and I came down there and gave it to them. And it was served on his birthday.
I understand, but obviously, if you do not have a date of birth, then we
Oh,
can't.
geez.
But
I
Miss,
find it
this
hard to
is-
understand because that's what they told me I needed, and I actually came down there to give it.
okay. No. I was gonna be fine, but then I noticed that there was nothing on the police report, which obviously makes me.
Okay, but I
concerned.
can give you, it was, his birthday is September the 19th, 1970.
But I just need to know that that's right. How do you know this person?
He was the one that put my AC in 2018.
In
Brand new unit.
2018,
Yes,
that's like 5 years ago.
yes, but he came to check it because it went out, and he took the compressor and never brought it back. And I sent all the information. The compressor had a 10-year warranty. It was covered, and he said that.
So this, and clerk, you said you guys just don't have it.
What
The date of birth.
I literally came down there and gave it to them and filled out all the information. They filled out the sheets. They gave me all my information while I was there on the case.
Listen. I'm not trying to be difficult, but
I'm not either.
I know. I'm just trying to be respectful. So this is what I have. This is just so you know. So Miss Thornton, stop walking around. I know I see you seem to be frustrated.
Okay, I'm gonna sit down. I had to go get that birthday.
I know. Stop walking around. Pay attention.
Okay, I'm sitting down now.
1 second. Thank you. See, the only reason I was concerned is because there's no date of birth here, right? This is the application that you filled out, right? And then when we scroll down, right, this is the offender. We don't even know his age. We have this address, but this is an employer's address. That's not going to be sufficient. You can't use his employer's address for the notice. Do you understand? So what you're going to have to do, I mean, this is justified. We're going to have it reset. You can't use the business address, right? And then you don't have his date of birth.
Yeah.
Well, you have his date of birth, but you don't have his address, and that alone is bad because you can't send these notices to an employer. He could be fired tomorrow. And even then, that's not his appropriate address. That doesn't satisfy service.
Yeah, and this was his business. So that was his business address. He owned the company, supposedly. I understand what you're saying. Okay.
So do me a flavor, right?
Okay.
And
I'm
that
writing it
is,
down.
we're
Tell me.
gonna get it reset. I'm not dismissing it, obviously.
Okay.
But you've got a responsibility to go and get the appropriate information. If an officer can't pull that information, then I could say yes, and who am I really arresting? It could be anybody, right? You don't want to send out a bolo for somebody who has this particular thing, because anybody can be arrested. We don't want to do that, right? So please, we're going to get it continued, and then you're going to go ahead and get the information so that we can actually hear your case.
Okay.
But we got to get them proper notice.
Okay, I got the date of birth, so I need to get the address.
Yeah,
Okay.
an address.
Oh, geez.
All right. So, clerk, how about we reset hers to November 27th so she has more time to be
I
able to
don't
get
know
that,
if
okay?
Miss Dawes' mother-in-law understood. Maybe the interpreter could pop in and just tell her why she got put in a breakout room.
Oh, she doesn't speak English either. Okay. All right. You can start interpreting now. We are here on Ms. Chomar's criminal warrant application. There are 3 offenses that have been lodged, which are the following: disorderly conduct, simple battery, harm, and battery. The alleged offenses occurred all on August 1st, 2022. Specifically, the allegations are that Fareda struck the applicant Chomar in the face with a handbag. Ms. Chomar further alleges that her hair was pulled and she was thrown to the floor, and there was an allegation that she had lost consciousness. Ms. Chomar, we're going to proceed in the following way. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to give me background regarding this particular event. During this time, which we'll call an opening statement, you can provide essentially not only background, but ultimately what you believe occurred that led to you filing this application. Following that, I will allow the accused to make any opening statement through her counsel. And then I will allow you to introduce any physical evidence as well as any witness testimony associated with your application. Be aware that not only yourself, but as well as any of your witnesses may very well be cross-examined following their testimony. In the event that the respondent so chooses, they may not only introduce evidence, but as well as other witness testimony in their defense. At the conclusion of the evidence, I'll give parties an opportunity to give about a 3-minute closing, a summation of what they believe occurred, and then I'll make a determination of whether or not an arrest warrant is going to be issued. Ms. Chomar, are you interested in discussing the matter with Ms. Farida's counsel?
No.
Okay, I read you loud and clear. All right. Ms. Chomar,
Yes.
the time is 7:15. You have till 7:20.
Pero cero ba fitting
Oh,
is
wait,
right.
wait. I won't obviously interpreter.
Okay.
I don't know if you
All
want
right.
to talk and break me.
All right, so Kanali, don't do it. I wasn't firefighting with her, and I visited her after I visited my daughter-in-law. Actually, my daughter, I recall. I visit my daughter back in the state with her forever sister out of state, and I visited her forever house. We wasn't fighting, we just having conversation, and then after a while they start talking about my daughter and then her sister's stuff, and then forever start cussing out my son-in-law. I told her not to curse in the house. If you want to curse him out, please go outside the house. Okay, so I was cutting cabbage and I was sitting, and they start screaming. So I got up, and then she hit me with her purse, and then she pulled me from back of my head, so I cannot touch her or pull her or fight with her, and then she pushed me. So that's why I got conscious. Okay, so there's a lot of people in the house, and her daughter has a newborn babies, and then there's other people in the house, but they wasn't interrupted. But she fell and she got bruises over her head, her neck, and in her arm. But she had her leg was numb due to the accidents before, so she could not walk properly, and then she got conscious right after that. Okay, so my families are against me filing this, and they don't really encourage her to do this. But I was hospitalized right after the fight. But after the discharge, my family is not very welcoming and not agreeing on this process due to unknown of the law.
ငါအိမ်လာပါဆိုတော့သမီးကဗီဒီယိုရိုက်တာသူ့
So my younger daughter may have a report of Farida yelling at a person in front of our house and accusing us, come over to my house, I will do this and that. She has a record of it too.
Okay. That was the 5 minutes.
Okay, so ဒါအခု9မိနစ်ပြည့်သွားပြီနော်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့
Is there any physical evidence or witness testimony that you would like for us to review
ကျွန်
now?
မတားလို့ရှိတယ်အားလုံးရှိတယ်
I have I have my whole house, family to be witness, but I also have my daughter friends who's from Indiana. She was at my place at that time, so she can be witness as well.
Ask her. I only want to hear from people who actually have actual knowledge that were there for the incident. Do we have any of those?
So
ဖုန်းနံပါတ်နဲ့ခေါ်ကြည့်တော့ပြောလို့မရဘူး
okay, she's repeating the same thing. She said my whole family is available, and also the friends of her daughters is in Indiana. I don't know if she's available or not. May I ask her the same question again, Your Honor?
Well,
To make sure
တော့
that-
အဲ့တော့ဒီတိုင်းပဲကြည့်နေသမီးကြည့်တော့အကုန်စဆုံးသိတယ်
my eldest daughter knows everything. She was there the whole entire from beginning to the end.
we'll tell her to bring out the oldest dog.
ကျွန်တော်ပြမှာဝေဒီဝေဒီမတ်ချက်လား
Hello.
Hi.
This is where it's going to be interesting. Right. And our interpreter, I'm going to tell you when to start, but I just want you to understand what we're going to do. Normally, I let folks do what's called a direct examination, and that's where the individual who is the applicant gets to ask the witness some questions regarding this particular matter. They get to ask them open-ended questions, not direct questions or cross-examination questions like, didn't you, or isn't it true that, right? These are more like, what do you know questions. I'm telling you this, Ms. Chomar, or Miss, what's your name again, man?
Kill.
Lahi.
What's your name?
Lahi.
Lahi.
Lavi. Okay, so you're aware if you know, we're going to see if we can achieve this. So interpreter, can you tell her she can ask her daughter some questions, but they got to be open-ended
So
questions. All right, so interpreter, if you can tell Miss Chomar, she can ask Miss her daughter here some questions for about 5 or 6 minutes. We'll see where we go.
Your Honor, I would just ask, can we get an interpretation of the question before an interpretation of the
That's
answer?
fine. So interpreter, can you, before she answers, can you tell us what the question is? Because there may be an objection to the question.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so Your Honor, she's not aware of what to ask and what to do for with the witness since they don't have any counsel or lawyers or any attorney for that. Do you have anything that they can go through with the instruction?
Other than the instructions of she can ask her some open-ended questions specifically about the event that occurred on August 1st, 2022.
အဲ့လေအဲ့ဒါငါတို့အဲ့လိုဖြစ်တာကိုနင်းမြင်တယ်မဟုတ်လားမြင်တဲ့
Do not see what happened on that day. Everything what happened, all the detail as well.
How about I ask the questions?
ကိုမနစီငါပါလေ
Yeah, so listen, I'm going to ask the questions, Ms. Chalmar, because this is going to be not productive. Hold tight. And then you can tell her,
Okay, so-
interpret the questions that I ask. All right. Witness, tell me your name one more time.
Lahi.
Lai. Tell me, were you present on August 1st, 2022 during this event?
Okay, ကျွန်မစီပါတယ်
Yes, I was there.
Okay. Tell me what you know. And you can say it in English. Or
So
which would be easier.
ကျွန်မမြန်မာလိုပဲပြောမယ်ဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့ကျွန်မအမေနားလည်အောင်လို့
I was speaking in English. I want my mom to understand as well.
We got you there, but that's okay. That's fine, interpreter. You can interpret what she says, and that way she can hear everything fresh. That's fine. So go ahead. Tell me what happened. Oh, wait, that's a
Now,
lot.
no?
You
Okay, so
understand?
I
And
was
so you can't tell a whole story. That's probably the problem here, because she's got to be able to tell it back to me, and that means she's going to end up writing down everything you say. She can't write that fast.
okay. Yes, I got everything down. Okay, so the problem started with the Forever sister, which is who is out of state with my husband, which is the son-in-law of Choma. So her husband and Forever has an argument outside of the house. a day before. So they were cursing out each other. They was fighting, and they want to come into Choma house to apologize to make up for it. So when they came and start talking to make a peace, they start cussing out again and make a big deals out of it. So they start cussing at each other. So Choma was like, "This is my house. Don't curse inside my house. Get out of my house. You guys can do whatever you want outside of my property." So that's the time for Forever grabbed the purse and hit her and then pulled her from the head, and then they start meddling. And then I was holding a baby, which is a newborn baby. I was unable to break them. That was where we stopped. Okay, so when this happened, I told my younger sister to record it. We're not gonna hit her or do anything against her. It happened inside our house. We're gonna record everything what happens. And then after that, my mom was unconscious, and then we called 911. So my mom was conscious. We called 911. When this all happening, when the younger sister was recording Forever and cursed at the younger daughters and say, "Come to my house. I will show you who I am, and if you dare to speak." And then she just her person and walk away and run away. And then they called the 911, ambulance come, and they ask, "Do you want to file the report?" And they say yes. And the police come after they go into the Farida house. Go. So Farida ရဲ့တငယ်ချင်းလား
ဟုတ်တယ်
Okay, so police came over. They start giving them a story of what happens and reporting and record of everything. But the police was like, "This is not what happened. This is not what I hear from the other side of the story." They was like, "We're the one who reported. Why is a conflict on the other end?" But they was like, "We're gonna give you what we have, and we also give a witness who is friends of the Farida, who is in Indiana now. At the time, she was at the scene as well." So this is what happened so far.
All right. Now listen, we can't let this go on forever because obviously that's going to significantly delay. So that's your testimony. Does who called the police?
I'm the one who called.
Oh, you called. All right. Okay. Defense counsel, do you have any cross-examination?
I do, Your Honor. This is from Ms. Chomar.
Okay, so
Well, I can do either or.
let's start with I mean, obviously this is obviously your ability to cross-examine, but counsel, if you can just start with the witness, that way we can be done with the witness. And
Sure. And I'm so sorry. Could I get the name one more time?
နာမည်လေးတစ်ချက်လောက်ပြန်ပြောပေးပါတဲ့
Really hard.
It's
Lahi.
breaking up on my end too.
Ladi.
Yeah, Lahi.
Okay. Thank you.
Lahi.
All right. Where were you when all of this took place? Were you in the same room?
Dining room ထဲမှာတနေရာမှာ
We are in the dining room.
Dining room. And a scuffle happens, correct?
Yes.
And is it between just Chomar and Fada?
Yes, they both are like hitting each other.
Okay, they were both hitting each other. Okay, that's all I have.
counsel, do you have any cross-examination for the other witness? I mean, for Mr. Mark?
I do.
Are you done with the other witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, we're done with you. Thank you for your testimony.
Ms. Marr, you said you were cutting cabbage.
Okay, so she's cutting onions, not cabbage.
Okay, okay, onions. Sorry
Just
about
want
that.
to clarify. Yeah.
That might have been where some tears came in. You were cutting onions. Were you using a knife?
So little tiny knife for the onions.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the answer.
Okay, it's a little tiny knife that they will use for the onions.
Okay, but it's a knife. Ask her.
ဒါပေမဲ့ဓာဆိုတာပဲမှတ်လာတယ်သိပြီမဲ့လေ
ဒါနဲ့ပြီးတယ်လေဟုတ်တယ်လေဘာဖြစ်လို့လဲ
Yes, it is a knife.
Okay. And Miss Daw attacked her when she had the knife in her hand?
No, I wasn't holding any knife or any object. I leave on the table where the dining area is, and I walk away to let her get out the house.
And okay, that's all right.
That's about it.
That's all I have for this witness, Your
Oh,
Baka
okay.
kami na
Okay. Ms. Chomar, do you have any other witnesses or physical evidence that you'd like to introduce?
I have a video recording from my daughter that I want to request to prove.
Okay, let me see if I can find that here. Hold tight. That's what we got.
ဆိုတဲ့အခါဒါသူတို့ရရှိလာတဲ့တက်တည်ထောက်ထားပေါ့နော်
Is there anything else, Ms. Chomar, that you would like for the court to introduce?
Okay.
Yes, there is some that more video of what happened that I can provide.
Can you ask her, did she already send that to the court?
Yes, my daughter sent it out.
Clerk, is there anything else? Because the only other evidence I see is from I see some pictures, but I believe those are also from defense counsel.
Yeah, if her daughter name is Priscilla, that's all we got.
ဒီတစ်ခုကနောက်ဆုံးပို့တာတစ်ခုပဲ
The video that we just saw is the last one. We have more previously.
And you ask your daughter where it is, because we don't have it, and I've asked them to send me everything. While we look for that, I'm going to introduce one other thing, which is the police report from this particular incident. All right, folks, this is the narrative from the officer that arrived at the scene of this incident on the date of August 1st, 2022. Ms. Chomar, are you familiar with this incident report? Have you seen it?
အမြင်မှုပါလေ
Play report.
ဟောပလေးတစ်ခုအမြင်မှုလေ
Yes, I have seen the police report.
Okay.
Judge, I found it. It's not even under her name. It's under somebody else's name. That was the confusion.
Can you send that to me? The video that was sent to me was seen to be after the event, and it very well wouldn't be relevant to what's happened. Let me see if there's another one. Hold on. Again, the videos that I have are just after the incident. None of the videos I have show the incident. Ms. Chalmar, is there a video of the incident?
Okay, so when it's happening, no one was aware of to record the video of it. So we only remember after she was fell on the ground and they just realized they need to start recording it.
သူအရင်လေးပြေးထွက်မှာပဲတမီးအငယ်မလေးရိုက်တာ
As soon as she stepped out and my daughter started recording it.
Ms. Chomar, do you have any other evidence that you'd like to introduce to the court?
ကျမကပို့ထားတာမလုံလောက်သေးလို့လား
The evidence that I show is not enough.
I haven't made that determination now. So I'm asking, do you have any other evidence?
No, I do not have any more further witnesses
Okay.
or evidence.
All right. Well, if that is the conclusion of your case in chief, counsel, you can obviously you didn't elect or we didn't have you do an opening, and I apologize that we forgot that there. I know it took a little time to do the opening, but I'll allow you to proceed. I know, interpreter, if you can go ahead and let her know that we're going to proceed with the defense's case.
I would briefly just want to open by saying I think the evidence will show that Miss Daw called the police after this incident occurred. Whether or not the other party did as well, Miss Daw did, to the point where the officers arrived first to them and gave her statement. She did tell the police of her own accord, whenever she was at her own home, that she did hit Miss Marr with her purse, but that she did that in self-defense when she was pushed and slapped by Miss Marr, and that Miss Marr went after Miss Daw with the knife that she was using to cut the onions at one point, and that any contact that Miss Daw had was in an attempt to get away from Miss Marr. And then I'll save my argument for afterward, Your Honor.
Okay. How do you want to proceed?
I would just call on Miss Hussein as a witness. Miss Hussein, how do you know Miss Daw?
She's my daughter-in-law.
Were you with her on the day of the incident?
Yes, I was there.
Did you see what happened?
Yes,
Please describe what happened that started the physical part of the altercation.
something? Hold on, Kanali. Frida, can you move? Yeah, okay. So they in the same zone, no? Okay. So we went there together, and my daughter-in-law is walking away from the house, and Choma came behind and started casting at her and yelling, and then started hitting her. So Farida trying to self-defense her and hit her with the purse that she was holding.
Can you just ask her to just answer my questions, please? So
Okay.
who was it that that physically attacked the other first?
Okay, so Choma is the first one who pulled the hair and then slapped.
Okay. Did Miss Daw do anything when Miss Marr did that?
So Farida responded and self-defense with her purse.
Did Miss Marr use any other items at any point?
Okay, so Choma came in with a knife. I begged her, please don't hurt her, please. And I pulled the knife out of Choma's hand, and then she said, "It's because of your face. Otherwise I would have hurt her."
How did Miss Daw get away?
Okay, after I dropped the knife, I grabbed Frida and I go home.
Okay. When you were home, did you all call the police?
Yes, we call police.
Okay. And did you tell the police the truth about what happened?
Yes, we show all the bruises and all the evidence as well.
Okay, this is a good time to bring that in. Did Miss Daw did somebody take some pictures of Miss Daw after this happened?
Yes, we have some picture.
Okay, and have you seen those photos?
Yes, I have seen it.
Your Honor, these are the photos that I've submitted to the court. This might be a good time to publish them.
Yep. Give me 1 second.
Injury to Miss Daw's neck. And here, let me pull them up on my computer as well, just so I can orient myself. So it looks like a couple of scratch marks to Miss Daw's neck. Let me just ask Miss Hussein, did Miss Daw get these injuries that day from Miss Marr?
Okay.
The next image is of Miss Daw's forehead. Looks like another gouge or scratch. You'll also notice, Your Honor, the near her below her neck on her right sort of armpit area, there's some discoloration and bruise. On the back, there is.
Let's try to see if we can get an interpretation as well.
I'm sorry. The third picture would be Miss Daw's back with a couple scratches on it. Miss Hussein, did Miss Daw ever pull Miss Marr's hair?
No, she never pulled her hair.
When Miss Daw left the house and walked out, what was Miss Marr doing at that point?
Okay, so after Farida stepped out the house and I grabbed a knife from Choma and then I put the knife down. I walk away, but I forgot my phone. So I went back in to grab my phone, but her daughter pushed me away and I apologized to her. I just trying to grab my phone to go home. So I grabbed my phone, but while I was grabbing my phone, I saw Choma on the floor and what is in the video.
Okay. When Miss Da was still in the room, was Miss Mar on the floor acting like that?
No, she's not.
So that was after. Okay. That is all I have. Or I guess.
All right, I take it Farida is not going to testify.
That's correct, Your Honor. She's gonna.
And is there any other evidence that you intend on introducing?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Chomar, we're going to give you an opportunity to make a final statement about these allegations and why you believe an arrest warrant should be issued, okay? I'm going to give you about 2.5 minutes, well, about 3 minutes that you've got an interpreter to tell me why an arrest warrant should be issued.
It's all lie. It's not truth, what they proved. I wasn't holding any knife. That's wrongful that they didn't pull my hair. So there is a lie that I fell on the ground after they left. But I was on the ground before she even stepped out. If I was threatened with the knife at the time being, she should have a cut. She should have been harmed. So she pulled my hair from the back, so I cannot do anything to her. How am I supposed to defend? And me, I don't have anything against her. Why would she do that to me? We wasn't arguing with her at all. They was fighting with my son-in-law, and I told them to get out the house. I can slap her, but I didn't. But she slapped me with the bags. I have a condition that my arms and legs are not physically strength. Even the doctor knows. I'm not capable of fighting against her. I didn't do any things to her, and she just pulled my hair, and I have no against her. You can compare the age between me and her, who's stronger.
All right. Is that it?
So,
Okay.
Yes.
Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think it's interesting that Ms. Mar says she didn't do anything to her, to Ms. Da. I think it goes to the credibility of the witnesses before you, because Your Honor has evidence in front of you that Ms. Da did receive injuries that day, and Ms. Hussein said that they came from Ms. Mar. There are several pictures of cuts to Ms. Da's body and bruising.
No, Ms. Mar, she can't talk right now.
Ms. Da, on the other hand, was completely truthful with the police about what happened. She even told them that she hit Ms. Mar with her purse. So speaking to a power dynamic, the dynamic would be that Ms. Mar had the power in that situation. I can speak about the different elements of the statutes that Ms. Da is alleged to have violated. If Your Honor would like me to take them one at a time.
I'm aware.
Yeah, okay. Well, let me just highlight, Your Honor, that there's been no evidence that has come forward about what harm, if there was actual harm caused to Ms. Mar, and of what nature, and how that could have been from something Ms. Da did. So let me just drill down for a second. Essentially, Your Honor, there was obviously a scuffle between two people. You now have one of them saying, I did absolutely nothing. And the other one said, well, I did do some stuff, I did do something, but it was in order to defend myself. And I think the credibility there, it comes from that. Miss Mar's daughter even says that Miss Mar hit Miss Da. So at the very least, there was a mutuality, and The issue is who initiated the contact, and we would submit that it was Miss Marr. Therefore, nothing that Miss Dodd did that day was unlawful. And that's all. Yeah.
Đã bà bé.
All right. I've heard all the evidence. I've seen everything that has been produced to me that not only has been introduced here, but as well as just been emailed to the court. Apparently, apparently there is a disagreement about whether or not there was any defensive maneuvers made and whether or not this was strictly an attack. However, what concerns the court particularly is the police report. Though it is not a final statement or record of what actually occurred, it does have some value in a sense of the evidence or testimony that's been presented today. Furthermore, in combination of the police report and the testimony, I don't see where this has been specific or anything that really is significantly has changed other than producing photographs of injuries. And as a result, because there appears to be some defenses, then this was it seems like y'all may or may not be family, and this is an issue that got out of hand, but it looks like this wasn't an attack, but a dispute that turned physical between two people. And that's not going to be sufficient to establish the offenses that you want to raise against Ms. Fodere, okay? Again, the testimony seems to be relatively in line with the report, but for Ms. Chomar claiming that she did not attack or touch Ms. Fodere. But for the basis and the probable cause here, it's just not sufficient for me to issue an arrest warrant. I pray you guys get it resolved, but if you don't, please avoid trying to commit another criminal act. With that, again, we'll be dismissing the criminal warrant application regarding the offenses, and I pray you guys have a great evening. All right, we are here, ladies, and I'm going to get you under oath shortly. We're here regarding the Ms. Lyons allegation or claim or application against Ms. Janice Jones for simple battery of harm for an event that took place on July 7th, 2023. More specifically, the allegation is that that Ms. Lyons was struck in the face while trying to spend time with her husband. And that is the allegation. All right, Ms. Lyons, I'm going to give you an opportunity here for about 3 or 4 minutes, no more, to tell me specifically the background regarding this matter, as well as what ultimately occurred on July 7th, 2023, which led to this particular application. It is now 8:28. I'll give you to about 8:32.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. On the July the 3rd, I had slipped and fell in the shower and I injured my side, okay? On July the 7th, my husband stayed with his father and Miss Jones, okay? My husband, he was helping me because I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything because I was injured, okay? So I went over there where he was. He told me to come over there where he was so he could help me move around and get around, okay? So I went over there. I called a Uber from the hospital from there. When I got there into my husband's bedroom where he paid rent at, she saw her husband, Mr. Aaron Mangum, in the room to ask me when am I gonna give her some money? And I said I didn't owe her any money. So I guess he went back and told her what I said. So she bust in the room. I was sitting on the sofa. She bust in the room and just started swinging and hit me all in my face. I couldn't even defend myself. My husband had to get, when I stood up, my husband got in front of us because she was still swinging. I couldn't even swing or lift my arm because I was sore. I called the police. When the officer came out, she was still fussing and calling me out my name. That's it, Your Honor. I can't hear you.
Jones, I'm going to give you till about 8:34 for you to give your opening statement about what occurred.
Okay, Your Honor, Miss Lyons is right about part of what she's saying. Now, I don't know about the walking and all that stuff because as far as I'm concerned, she was walking just fine up in my house. But what I'm saying to you, Your Honor, listen to me, Your Honor. Miss Lyons had been staying with me for at least 4 or 5 months. She started out giving me $200 worth of food stamp for 2 months.
Yeah.
And then, listen, Your Honor, I didn't disturb her, so I want you to listen to me. And so, when it got to May, she got a check for $5,000, and she gave me $80. And so that was fine. But I asked my husband when it got July to ask her when she was going to give me something else for laying there. She had been staying there. And if she wasn't staying there, why did, when she took out the warrant on her husband, did the public defender come here and said she was using our address? So I'm not going there. But all I'm saying to you, Your Honor, all I was asking her for was a little money to help out for her living in my house for 3 or 4 days at a time in a week. That's what I call living with me, Your Honor. Okay, I'm through with that. The main thing, Your Honor, is I haven't seen Tamika Lyons since July the 7th or the 8th when this incident has happened. We're wasting the court time because she don't come here. I don't know where she stay. So it's over. That's all I'm saying. And Your Honor, I want to add that at that time, I'm bipolar, schizophrenic, and manic depressed. I have a doctor paper over here saying that I was partially blind at that time. So I don't know if I hit her or her husband, but I do know I was totally out of order. But the doctor has put me on some medicine now, and I'm doing better. So I'm sorry to Miss Lyons about what I did, but I was out of order, but I'm doing a lot better. So if she can accept my apology and keep staying wherever she's staying, don't step foot on my property, and I don't want to know where she's staying at. That'll just keep me just fine, Judge.
Well, thank you, Ms.
Can I
Jones.
say something?
Well, you will. Hold tight. So, Ms. Jones, do you have any witness testimony or physical evidence that you emailed that you want me to review?
I have 2, as a matter of fact. I
Two
thought I
what?
had 1, but one just stepped in from out the woodwork, and she would like to have a little something to
Well,
say.
hold on. Before we have woodwork witnesses, did you have any physical evidence that you'd like to produce to the court?
Well, I got some scratches on my arm, so she said she couldn't do nothing. And I have a picture of a black eye, and
Okay, I'm not talking to Ms. Jones. Ms. Lyons, do you have any pictures or any evidence that you'd like to introduce?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have any witness testimony that you'd like to introduce?
I do, but my husband don't have a phone. I'm on my way to the house.
Okay, so he's not there.
Oh, he's right here on the. How he gonna supposed to see that?
He's right here on video.
Is he? Why didn't he log into the event?
No, he can't. He can't.
Okay, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna be 100. We're not gonna go on top of video. All right. So let me do this. Let's stop. Ms. Jones, unmute for me. Can't hear you because you're still muted, man.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Ms. Jones, let me ask you these questions.
Okay,
Did you hit Ms. Lyons?
I did.
Okay. And I know you say you suffer under mental illness. I understand that. And I do understand the frustrations of being plagued with that.
Yes.
But you can't go around hitting people,
Right.
you know? Ms. Lyons, how do you know Ms. Jones again?
I'm married. I am married. With her.
Y'all are family technically through marriage.
I'm not family with her. No.
You're not family, but somebody else. I mean, you may not be blood family, but did you marry into her, or y'all married into each other's family in some ways, shape, or form?
Yes. She's married to my stepson.
Oh, okay. Your connection's starting to break up. Now, and Ms. Lyons, let me just tell you too, just so you're aware, if I were to issue an arrest warrant, it would be for a UJR. She'd be released. Now, I don't know if you guys desire to interact with each other anymore.
No, we don't.
No, Your Honor.
She told me she wasn't gonna come back over here no more. And guess what? She haven't. And I appreciate her.
I have not been over there, and I'm not gonna go back over there.
Okay.
I think it's wrong because she know what she do. She used her disability to get.
Hold on. I'm very familiar with people with disabilities and all those things. But what I'm asking you is it your desire is to have her arrested?
Yes.
Okay. And you are aware that even if she's arrested, she will be released.
That's fine. Well, something need to be done because it's not right for her to just put her hands on people and just hit on people. That's not right because it's the other way around. If I would
Miss
have did
Lyons,
it,
you
I
can
would
tell
have
me
went
all
to jail.
this. Listen, stop. Folks, let me tell you something. Right? Doing all that yelling don't help you get your point across. It makes me think that you have a temper issue as well, because you seem to not even be able to hold yourself while we're on a Zoom call. Like, folks, we got to be a little bit more patient and calm, especially when there's not a direct harm immediately against you. Nobody's in a position to strike you, Miss Lyons, at this moment. You need to be a lot more calmer how we communicate. All right. Same thing with Miss Jones. Now, Miss Jones, I know you can hear me, but you can't hit people. You've admitted to hitting her and striking her. I'd be remiss if I did not issue an arrest warrant because obviously you are committing some type of offense that has made someone upset. Hold on, Ms. Jones. You don't need to talk right now. You just need to listen. So that's a concern. I understand that you may suffer from a mental illness, and I understand that that is a troubling thing to deal with. But that does not give you the authority nor the excuse to strike people and assume that you don't have any consequences associated with it. I'm not telling you that you're guilty. Obviously, your admission may or may not be used against you. But ultimately, what I'm going to do, because of your admission, and I understand that you may have some remorse about it, but this is what we're going to do. I have no intent on messing up your life. But I do think that it appears that you guys may not be able to get along. And I have no other authority than to issue what I'm going to issue, but for issuing an arrest warrant. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you 10 days. I don't have no desire to mess your life up. Today is the 23rd of October. I'm going to give you until the November 2nd, okay, to turn yourself in. You're just going to turn yourself in to DeKalb County. They're going to fingerprint you, and you're going to pay no money, and then you're going to be released, okay? But then there's going to be a special condition, Miss Jones, and I'm going to do a stay away order for Miss Lyons. So you don't have to be around each other. Miss Lyons, don't try to go around Miss Jones, but Miss Jones, be aware, my special condition is for you. It is not Miss Lyons. Miss Lyons will not go to jail if she's around you, but you could go to jail, and you could potentially be charged with an aggravated stalking charge if you're to go around her following me entering this order for a stay away. And that just seems to maintain the safety of the community and each other. I don't want this thing to get out of hand, but beyond the yelling and the pushing and the hitting that has already occurred. And so with that, I'm going to give you till the 2nd of November to turn yourself in. Miss Lyons, I'm going to need you to sign the warrant for her as well as the special conditions so that that can be achieved. If you don't get down to the courthouse, and I'm going to give you until this Friday to accomplish, well, I'm going to give you a little shorter because I want to give Miss Jones more time. I'm going to give you until Thursday to sign this warrant application, okay? And then Miss Jones, you can between that Thursday, which would be the 27th, right after she signed it, in the 2nd, you go down there, do your little fingerprint. I say little because it is still significant. But again, you won't have to pay any monetary amount and you'll be released. But you'll also sign a special condition that says you're going to stay away from Miss Lyons. Do you understand? You can unmute now. Can you unmute now?
Yes, I do, Your Honor, and thank you so much.
No, I understand. So that's what we will do. I will wait for Miss Lyons to sign it. Miss Lyons, if you don't sign, you're not going to get no arrest warrant, because if you don't sign it, I'm not going to sign it because it's your application. So it'll be your responsibility. Now, my clerk is going to email you, both of you, Miss Jones and Miss Lyons. Miss Jones, I don't want you to get in no more trouble. Miss Lyons, though, I'm going to email you. Well, I am not, but the clerk's going to email you rather with instructions about how to go and sign the warrant. Miss Jones, do not go down to turn yourself in until that warrant is signed. Otherwise, it'll be a waste of your time. You understand?
So you telling me that she's supposed to sign Thursday and I can go down there Friday and get this over with?
You guess. That's true.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
All right. Miss Lyons,
thank you so much, Judge.
Well, hold tight. Miss Lyons, do you understand? Miss Lyons, unmute. Miss Lyons, unmute.
Sound like Miss Lyons feel the sweet.
Oh, hold on.
Yes, Judge. Yes,
Yeah,
I understand.
You understand? Okay.
Yes.
Do we have everybody's email, clerk?
Judge, I was just about to say, we don't have an email for Miss Jones. If she don't have one, she could probably call before coming down.
Yeah, Miss Jones, you got an email? If you don't worry, it's okay.
Janice@gmail.com.
But thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Judge. You were very fair.
It's relative to who has, but thank you. And you guys both have a blessed evening. You'll get the email with the instructions, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right.
I got to turn myself in Friday, and all I got to do is turn myself in, get fingerprinted.
Okay, she's talking all about it. All right, all right. So here we are, 9:42, 8:42 rather. Usually it's 9:42. All right, Reverend Hutchins, I have got you down. We have time. That's what I was trying to make sure of. If you stayed, then you are gonna get heard. All right, all right, all right. So give me 1 second to pull this matter up. I will say we are having it ex parte. Now that doesn't mean that I just say, hey, it's granted. You got to still prove to me what we're going. And it seems as if your case may have a little bit more involvement. So bear with me here while I pull it up, which took place back on July 6, 2023. The allegation then is that it's just me and you. So I just want to take an opportunity here to look at what I just saw just to make sure I understand what I'm looking at.
Okay.
What's going on with this right here?
So in when I submitted the warrant application initially, the hearing date was set, but I received notice of the hearing date after the hearing had been set.
I see. So it was just.
So I had to resubmit. Yeah, I had to resubmit a new application altogether.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. So again, we're here for a theft by taking charge. And the allegation specifically is that he stole your 97 Toyota Corolla. Now, how much is your Corolla worth? How much is it worth?
It's the Blue Book value says it's worth $950, but it has some sentimental value, but the actual retail value is probably around $2,000, but that's relative. The Blue Book value is $950.
Okay, because I was gonna say if it's more than $2,000, my man, we couldn't hear it. It's a felony. So
yeah, no.
Or a little, maybe not much, just a little bit more than that. But okay, so he's alleged to have taken your 97 Toyota Corolla DX. Was he ever arrested?
He was not.
Okay. Did you ever get your car back?
I did not. The DeKalb County Police recovered the vehicle, but the vehicle was impounded. And by the time I came to know that the vehicle was at statewide towing, the cost to get it out of the impound has exceeded the value of the car. So I've vacillated about it simply because it does have sentimental value, but it would take me somewhere around $1,600 to get the car out. So I just decided to let it go.
Okay. And see, Judge Taylor says that brother's whereabouts are unknown. This is back in July, but your address is his only known address. But you're telling me your mother gave you and he the letters directly. You know that because you saw that?
Yes, I saw it. I received it. Again, Your Honor, my brother has a history of criminal activities, all kind of drug-related, drug-induced, that date back decades. He's been arrested at this home. His driver's license is at this home. This is his residence. And if it pleases the court, I'll just share with you what happened, and
Sure,
I'll proceed
please.
expeditiously.
Thank you, please.
Okay, so on July 9th, July 5th, I should start by saying, July 6th, I'm sorry, of this year, I took my mother and several of my aunts and other relatives on a small family trip down to Biloxi, Mississippi. And one of my vehicles actually I had two vehicles that were in the driveway and another vehicle that was in the garage. The 97 Corolla is an older car that was gifted to me by someone that's very special who's since been gone on. She's since deceased. My brother apparently knew where there was a spare key in the car. He got the car, he stole it, and my nephew on July 9th called me to tell me, one of my nephews, Jonathan Ross, called me to tell me that he saw Al driving the car and knew he had stolen it, and therefore took pictures of Al in the car. I submitted those pictures to the court. He was at the Chevron gas station at the intersection of Panola Road and Browns Mill. And subsequent to that, Your Honor, Al did not return with the car. He does not have a cell phone. And again, unfortunately, Al has been, he was addicted to drugs in his teenage years. He got clean about 35 years old. He stayed clean 14 years and has since relapsed. And, so he stole this vehicle. The worst and probably the most, the thing that I am most concerned about, Your Honor, is the DeKalb County Police Department would not put the car in GCIC until I went through this process and until the court signs a warrant. So I had a car that was stolen and could do nothing about it, essentially. So I canceled the insurance, I canceled the registration. I have provided to the court via email the registration cancellation for this vehicle on or about, and so Al did not show up, he was not around, but on about August the 15th of this year, I got a call. I was in Las Vegas speaking to the Fraternal Order of Police, and I got a call from a Sergeant Keith Kinder with the Conyers Police Department. Sergeant Kinder asked me if I was the owner of this particular Toyota Corolla. I said, yes, I am. He says, where were you on and about? And he gave me the date, and I told him where I was. And he says, who typically drives the 1997 Toyota Corolla that's registered to you? I said, the car's been stolen. It was stolen by my brother. And he responded to me, well, your brother almost got you in a whole lot of trouble. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, the car's not on GCIC. The DeKalb County Police did not put it on there. And I recognize that is the truth, because the process that DeKalb County Police follows is they won't put the car on the GCIC until this court signs a warrant if it's a family member and it's this particular set of circumstances. So I heard from Sergeant Kinder that they had applied, because the car was registered to me and used in the commission of a crime at a Walmart in Conyers. They looked at the surveillance video, thought it was a person that looked like me, and therefore signed an arrest warrant for me. And so he called me because some person within the police department recognized my name. I do a lot of work with law enforcement, a lot of social justice work. So they didn't think it was right. So the sergeant picked up the phone and called me and told me what had happened. And then, told me that my brother had used the car in the commission of a crime. I shared with him the DeKalb County Police report, number and all that information. They withdrew the warrant. And so that is kind of where we are. I provided to the court pictures of my brother that were taken by Jonathan Ross, by the surveillance camera at the Walmart, by flock safety cameras that are used by Conyers Police Department. And I've also provided for this court a statement from Sergeant Keith Kinder, an official statement on the Conyers Police Department letterhead outlining the facts and the circumstances here. I plead with the court to issue this arrest warrant. It may, my brother committed the crime. It has had significant consequences for me, and I want him held responsible. And beyond that, this may be the only mechanism that is available to help him to get the help that he needs, because he doesn't have the ability to independently do it himself. And that's where I am with it, Your Honor.
Okay. And you're saying you were out of town. Did he used to drive the car?
No, he's never had permission to drive anything that I've owned.
Okay. Hmm. All right. Well, he's not here. I am a little concerned about the service, but if you're saying that he was there at the time and got notice, and you're saying he's not in jail, to your knowledge?
No, he's not in jail to my knowledge.
All right. And I'm always a tad bit apprehensive because, again, he's going to have a warrant, and if he doesn't know, he's just going to be randomly arrested. Those tend to be more dangerous situations. But listen, this is your brother. You're indicating that he didn't give any authority. You didn't give him any authority to drive his vehicle, which was subsequently used in the commission of a crime. I have seen the photographs that appear. Again, I've never seen your brother, so I don't know if that's him there or not. But obviously, you're alleging that that is him in the vehicle. I've also saw the police report where that allegation was made, and a nephew also indicated that he was in the vehicle. And since this time, obviously the vehicle has been towed and is now, I guess, at this juncture, lost. And so again, all I can do is issue an arrest warrant. That's it. And so that doesn't necessarily resolve the issue. And I remind folks, I'm not going to be able to give you anything to be able to get the car back, but I do understand the issue that you have as far as the criminal allegations that need to be resolved with you. So I will issue the arrest warrant. He's not here, so he's not going to necessarily have an opportunity to turn himself in. I would tell you, though, if you have any communication with your brother, you might want to tell him to do that, only because you just don't want it to be worse than what it is. But if you don't have any cares or concerns, that's your prerogative. But I would ask that you come down, and it's not going to be effective until you sign it. So you're going to need to come and sign it before the end of the week.
If it pleases the court, Your Honor, I will tell you that I have ultimate care and concern. I have done everything that a human being could possibly do to help Al, and I have shared with him on numerous occasions that committing a criminal act against me, he's stolen a vehicle that belongs to our 75-year-old mother. He has been arrested for smoking crack cocaine in her house directly across the hall. That was his last arrest in August of 2019. She's 75 years old now. She'll be 76 soon. And, his crimes cannot go unpunished. So I've gone through, as you can see, exhaustive efforts to perfect this warrant, and he has to be held accountable and responsible. And I hope that he and our family can leverage his accountability and his responsibility for this to motivate, encourage him to get the help that he so desperately needs. So I will do exactly what the court has asked. And,
All right. Well, there won't be any special conditions. It won't be necessary. And so you'll give you the Friday, you'll go down, the clerk will email you instructions, and we'll put it down. And if you can communicate with your brother, obviously let him know, or otherwise, he will have a warrant for his arrest sitting out there.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You are welcome. So our clerk, do we have his email address?
Yes, we do, Judge.
Okay, so we'll email that to you. It'll be a UJR, so you won't have any monetary bond requirements. And then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You have a good evening.
Good night. Bye-bye.
And that will conclude the